Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, the iPad Air is mine, but not without a fight.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the story. Plus, the Retina Mini has arrived in short supply.
Of course.
And updates for iOS.
All that and a financial savior is risen
Holy cow.
on iPad today. It's not a cow. It's weird.
iPad Today is brought to you by Slingbox. Buy a Slingbox and turn your mobile device into a television. With Slingbox, you can watch high-def TV on your smartphone, laptop, tablet, or iPad, anywhere there's an internet connection. Learn more at slingbox.com/twit. And by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code iPadToday11. And by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic designs marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 250,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/iPad today to receive your free Power Pack upgrade, valued at $99. And now, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for the amazing iPad Today program featuring the dancing Sarah
I got
Lane.
Elvis hips today.
We have to shoot her from the hips up.
That's right, because it will offend the ratings people.
No children will ever watch again.
Right. Though those are the ones who usually end up getting very turned off by you and I. People with kids.
So why are these old
what is
people
wrong
dancing?
With you?
Don't they
Why
know
do you say things like that?
people over 25 should not dance?
No, just stop.
So you got your iPad. Congratulations.
Well, I feel already overshadowed by you because you've got your mini Retina. But
You're a week behind, Sarah Lane, but that's okay.
Totally. But since I made such a big deal about how my life sucked last week and I didn't have the iPad Air.
And we invite you all to watch last week's hour-long episode describing Sarah's travails.
It was tough. It was hard to be me last week. So here's what happened. At the end of the week, I went into the UPS store.
Yes.
And I said, all right, I'm ready to get it. And because
because as we were talking, you were afraid that the iPad was going to get delivered to your house while you were doing the show.
Correct, because it was Thursday and nobody had called me, and if somebody was trying to get into my building, I would get a phone call.
So you tore out of here after the show and you went straight to the UPS?
And I was like, maybe I could, I went home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, they haven't delivered it yet. Turns out, one of my neighbors let them into my building, so I had a little note on my door after all saying,
we can't give it to you.
We can't give it to you.
I hate that.
So I called them and I said, can you come back? And they said, no, but you can pick it up at the UPS center after 8 p.m.
The truck will return and they'll
and
take
I said,
it off,
okay, I'll be there then.
Yeah.
Sure enough, showed up and went through all the thing, and he had the box and he's giving it to me, and then he goes, oh, your driver's license, it doesn't match the shipping address. And I said, oh yeah, that's, just my old address. And he said, well, do you have another form of ID with your current address? And I said,
oh yes, I carry my
no.
PG&E bill, my electric bill with me at all times.
Which doesn't have a photo ID attached anyway. And I said, well, no. And he said, I'm sorry, this is an Apple product. We can't give this to you.
Oh, lordy, lordy.
And I murdered him. No, I didn't. I said, well, you should have told me. Somebody should have told me that. And I kind of acted like an old lady and paced a little bit.
And did that work?
No. And then I left. And then I said...
You didn't say, do you know who I am?
No,
yes, it says you're Sarah Lane on the card.
I'm positive that nobody at UPS cares.
Right.
One iota who I am or why it matters.
Right.
So I went home dejected with my tail between my legs.
Oh, dear.
Then I went through a huge process of I got all these bills. I brought my passport.
You're
all
kidding.
sorts of stuff. And it was like 3 days later because they
were closed.
Exactly, it's business days, right? And finally I went in a couple days ago with all my stuff, kind of spread it out. Different guy, of course.
Here's who I am.
And he kind of looks and is just like,
just show me your driver's license,
here,
lady.
is this yours? He never even looked at any of my IDs. Any of them. I could have been a crazy person. So here it is. I'm super excited.
And you've had it for how long? A day?
A couple days.
You got the white, I see. 128?
128.
Wi-Fi, or did you get the 3G as well?
Both, man. Both.
Yeah, so that was a $1,000 device I'm looking at. Right there.
That's exactly right. It's not just it's LTE. And what's kind of interesting about this is, okay, so we've got micro SIM in the iPad 3G. And I'm sorry, the iPad 3rd gen.
You had a Verizon
AT&T.
or AT&T, okay.
So micro SIM in this guy.
Right.
So I say,
I'll just pop it out and put it in the new one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Except that iPad Air uses nano SIM. So I get on the phone with AT&T. I say, what are my options? They say, we can mail you a SIM. But that's not actually true. Turns out that I have to go into an AT&T store, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do that.
A matching IMEI number and all of that stuff, and they scan it.
My hero, Ayaz Akhtar, says, because he's listening to me complain loudly,
Yeah.
he says, you know what you can do? You can just use a SIM cutter to cut your micro SIM
I've been
to a
looking for
nano
that.
SIM.
Can I have my SIM cutter back?
I said, I thought that was a stapler. It's a SIM cutter. It's a real thing.
This is a more modern one. Is this mine, or is this?
I don't know whose it is.
Ayaz's.
It's mine now.
Fraser Schwally brought me. I think it was this one, because traditionally the SIM cutters take a full-size SIM and cut it down to micro, but these are newer ones that actually go to nano size.
Correcto.
What's weird is you're actually cutting into the copper circuitry part of it, and you would think that would break it, but it doesn't.
This is my micro SIM. Hard to see. This is what it used to be like, and that's what I cut out of it.
So this is the.
That's the original micro SIM.
This is what you cut off, and you can see there's some copper contacts on that.
Yeah.
They've been chopped off.
Cut it out. Put the new nano SIM into my iPad Air.
Here's a video of Ayaz doing this.
Yeah. They've showed it off on
Yeah,
Know-How,
on
which is
Know-How.
why Ayaz is so smart, because he
Number
does this stuff for a living.
68.
Put it in my iPad Air, rebooted, and AT&T,
It worked.
y'all. I mean, I'm on Wi-Fi now,
awesome.
but yeah, I've tried it with data, and it works just fine.
Yeah.
I felt like, seriously, I mean, I tweeted about it. I was so proud of myself.
If you'd asked me, I would have told you.
Well, the thing is at first I'm like, I'm not cutting a SIM. That sounds hard.
I wasn't around.
I didn't realize we had tools for that.
Oh yeah.
It's a real
It's scary
SIM cutter.
too, because
because you get it wrong, and then you're like, oh, now you don't have any
But
data.
you know, you're no worse off than you were before.
Well, yeah,
it's
you
also
are.
scary because you're cutting the circuitry. You're cutting the actual copper.
Well,
around
what
it,
I
which
was
is
worried
odd.
about was that if I needed an iPad in a pinch, that I would just ruin the only SIM that I was working with.
Well, that was the risk. But
but everything was fine. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I was really proud of myself.
So everybody uses SIMs now, including the old CDMA networks, Verizon and Sprint, because LTE requires a SIM.
Correct.
So, for instance, when I got my new iPhone 5S, which is a Verizon. I'm on Verizon for the iPhone.
I am too.
I was able to just take the SIM card out of the old iPhone and pop it into the new one. Yeah, and it worked. So that's nice.
It worked like a charm.
Yeah, I like that.
It was good stuff. So
didn't have to cut that one because it was the same size.
The same size. Yeah. I hadn't even really thought about the fact that a micro SIM and a nano SIM not compatible.
Can we get any smaller than a nano?
Yeah, somebody had made a joke on Twitter to me that it's like, next we're going to be like shaving them down to fine grain and putting them in the headphone slot. I don't know.
I think we're at the limit because we're actually now at the size of the copper circuitry in the smart card.
Right. There's nowhere else to go.
We're already cutting some of it off.
But you know, we're the same people who used to say things like 64 megabytes. Who'd need any more than that?
I know. Who would have ever thought we'd have a iPad mini
Holy crud.
with a Retina display? Holy crud is right. And I am saying this is the one I wanted last year.
Yep.
Remember they said you can't have it because we can't possibly do Retina and still give you 10 hours battery life, et cetera, et cetera.
And they did.
They did.
Do you love it so much?
I do. And by the way, a little plug for this is the smart cover. So they have a smart case. They have a smart cover, which you have.
That's what I have as well.
And I decided to go with the smart case because it's a full case that still has the thing.
And it's because you're worried about scratching the back?
Yeah, and also
I kind of wonder why people choose cases rather than just covers.
The cover falls off all the time for me.
Oh, okay. It's just more
so
substantial.
this doesn't fall off. I mean, it's
yeah.
attached.
But it's also, you know, it's not hard to pop off, but it's a little bit less.
Not that hard. What is there occasion for you to pop that off?
Sometimes you want to ride bareback if you're just, you know, sitting watching TV.
If you're banging on the dashboard. So this is a little overpriced. I think it's $50 for this. But
what was it? Yeah, 49.
$49.99 or
Well,
something like that.
the red one is a little bit more
This
expensive.
is product
because
red.
it's- Yeah.
So I'm saving the world and
Right.
covering my iPad. So I got the space gray. The only difference between this and your big boy, there's two differences.
Yeah.
You have the iPad Air. Of course, the screen size, but it's the same resolution. So it's very high resolution. It's instead of 9.7 inches, it's 7.9 inches. And then there's one other thing people have found as they've benchmarked it, according to Geekbench, it is 100 megahertz slower. Yours is 1.4 gigahertz. Mine's 1.3 gigahertz.
Okay.
This is iPhone 5S speed, but
Yeah.
it's still plenty fast.
Sure, sure.
And
Well, and a lot-
go ahead, take a look. See if you like the screen and the size. It's it's funny. It's only a quarter pound lighter than the iPad Air. The Air is
It
so
does seem really small,
It's
though.
teensy
It's
weensy.
so cute.
It's cute.
I love it. I mean, it's. I'm trying to pull up something that's very visual. I just went to the music store. in
Yeah,
iTunes.
forget it. There's nothing like that on an iPad.
Weirdo. No,
There's
this
the
is,
Geekbench benchmarks are coming in. But I got to tell you, I don't notice that. I really don't notice that. I feel like it's fast, more than fast enough.
Oh, here's all your apps. I was like, you have nothing on here, but
I put them in
you
folders.
have a ton.
I folderize them.
It's weird. You've got a lot of the obvious stuff on like the third page. You're like,
That's the
that was
Apple.
like a bizarro.
That's not the obvious stuff. That's the Apple stuff. I take all the Apple apps
And you
I
throw
put them
them
on the
to
back
the-
page because I don't want to use the photo booth, the game center, FaceTime. I don't use those. Contacts, you ever use that? The Apple Contacts?
Yes, I do.
Really?
A lot.
Well, you have to look up an address to send somebody a greeting card?
It's the basis for many things I do.
Find my friends?
Find my friends is how I stalk my friends.
Yeah, because you're the only
Who
person.
went
by the
to
way,
so-and-so's house and sort of didn't leave until the morning.
Oh.
Who turned off their location for the last 12 hours?
It's kind of a giveaway when you turn it off, kids. Don't do
So
that.
it's a lot of fun.
The trick is to leave your iPad somewhere else.
And then say, use
And
this as your
then-
primary device. And people
Exactly.
say, Sarah's been home
How
for
do
like
I know
20
that?
days.
Twitter, I put that in the back because I don't use Twitter. I use
Tweetbot.
Tweetbot.
I do too.
But you want the Twitter app. This
You
really
do.
bugs me. You
You
need
do.
to install the Twitter apps for the automatic login and all of that stuff. So I move those to the last page of my iPad.
Okay.
And then this is the front page is what I use the most. And so I only have 3 pages. The second page is folderized.
Yep.
It's because for easy categorization, and then mostly this is Apple stuff or utilities that I don't use much, like LastPass and Google Authenticator. I put those on this. Apple Mail I don't use. I don't use Messages because it's an iPad. Although notice I am using the new Google Hangouts.
What do you mean you don't use Messages because it's an iPad?
Well, Messages is for phones.
No, it's
No?
for anybody
Yeah,
with
I don't
an
use
Apple
Messages because
ID.
you have to have an Apple device, and nobody I know has one.
Oh, please.
So-
Everyone I know has one.
Yeah, we hang in different circles.
Oh, whatever. Okay, you know what? Just whatever.
And
You know that you can have non-iPad.
No, I do. I know.
Okay, all right.
I'm just being a silly boy. One of the reasons I actually prefer Hangouts, which does most of the same thing that Messages does.
Yeah.
Google Hangouts is because you can now make phone calls with Google Hangouts. So remember, I used to use Talkatone
Yeah.
to turn my iPad Mini into a phone,
Right.
A rather large, ungainly phone. Well, now I use Google Hangouts, and I can still place phone calls and even receive phone calls to my Google Voice number through Google Hangouts. So I find this a very nice device. I couldn't be more happy with it. I think they did all the right things. It's beautiful.
You know, last week we were looking at your iPad Air, which you had gotten.
Right.
And you said, it doesn't seem that different, really. From the 3rd gen iPad to the new. And I've got
There's
my
a
old
size
guy and my new
difference,
guy.
yeah.
Of course,
It
there's a
is,
side difference,
the
and
bezel's
there's the
bigger.
bezel difference.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I went ahead and went white again, which I'm actually really happy about it. There's something about the white that I feel like looks
Yeah.
cleaner somehow.
Yeah.
As you can see, I
You
don't
just
have
like
my
to
SIM card
alternate.
installed anymore because I took it out.
Right.
But I know what you mean. It's not so different size-wise. It does feel a lot lighter to me.
0.4 pounds.
Yeah, it's easier to type with. And we had those of you who watched last week's show, we had somebody write in and say, it feels somehow softer, the screen, and I totally agree with you. Now that I've typed on it a little bit, I'm like, I really do get that. There's a little bit of it's like a little memory foam almost feeling.
Yeah.
It's a little
It gives a little
disconcerting.
bit. I actually
but
like it. I prefer it.
it feels good, but at first you're like, isn't this supposed to be it's Gorilla Glass, right? It's supposed to
Yeah.
be rock hard.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thrilled. I think that the Mini is
Well, I think we have two very good choices here.
We do.
So,
We do. We've got our
there's-
bases covered.
Comparing the size, this is an iPad Air in back and an iPad Mini in front. I think they're very comparable devices, and you should get the one that you feel like fits your needs best. But size is now really the main determinant. It's every other way it's functionally equivalent. And you know what? I don't mind taking pictures so much with a Mini.
No?
Right, that's not quite as bad as taking pictures with an Air.
It doesn't look that weird. I mean, that's a darn near phablet size at this point.
Yeah, that's small enough.
It's just it's a form factor thing. What do you want?
Right. And I think you should make your choice based on your
Absolutely.
your aesthetics. It's
I'm happy with my Air. I definitely am.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I've also made a conscious decision for the first time since so I've had this is the 4th version of a full-size iPad, right?
Yeah.
Original iPad, iPad 2, iPad 3, skipped 4th. Here I got the iPad Air. It's the first time that I've decided not to restore from a backup. I'm starting over.
Not to restore from back. Oh, I always do that.
You always start over?
I always do that.
Or you always restore from
I always
backup?
start over fresh because
See-
I don't want to restore from a backup because I'd rather have a clean.
I've never done that before because it's
Really?
like, oh, well, the first iPad, I spent all this time trying to decide, okay, what's the right way to organize apps and what folders make sense. And,
Right.
we're downloading so many apps all the time just to try, so we can tell you whether you should buy it or not. And so with the iPad 2, it's like, oh, no, I need all of that stuff still. Let's just bring it all over, and then I'll go from there. And then I felt stuck, and with the iPad 3, and at this point, it's like, you know what? There's too much junk on there. What was so nice was saying, no, I want to start this iPad over fresh. Once I got the SIM card brought over, that's all nice and good. And then selectively, which was really great, because of course I put in my iCloud information and it knows who I am.
Yeah.
I just go to the App Store, and then I go into like all the stuff that I've purchased. Like purchased not on. Let's get
Well,
that
see,
away.
that's the
Not
thing
on
is you can
iPad.
do that.
And then you just go ahead and because there were certain
I
apps
don't- and
that
I
it's
don't
like
want all of those, right?
But you can go ahead and say, I really did like, the Hotel Tonight app.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. And,
Duolingo, you definitely want.
yeah, we'll go ahead and download that
Yeah.
again. But you can pick and choose. I mean, it's not as if I don't want all of the same apps. Obviously,
And you do spend a lot of time now or reorganizing it, putting in settings again.
yeah.
But I just feel like it's nice to start clean. But I don't know if it's a bad thing to start to restore.
No.
I don't. Maybe not. I just. It's just my
I think for most
habit.
people, it's not as if. Well, I mean, I think I have probably more pointless apps than the average bear
Right.
on my iPad.
Right.
Just because, why? Why not? Today is no exception.
So it
But
really is.
most people-
Brian is saying, well, isn't it easier to restore and then delete the apps you don't want? No, I mean,
Not
I
really.
think there's two different ways to go. I don't like the jiggle, 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 close, jiggle, 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 close, jiggle, 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 close.
Yeah.
I would rather go through the list, say that, and that, and I feel like I get a smaller list that way too. So, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of taste. And I guess there might be a small advantage technically to starting fresh. You're not bringing in anything that could potentially be problematic, data that's corrupted or things like that were backed up.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you would, in
apps
theory,
that,
have a better experience.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and
Comes from me from desktop computers not wanting to install Windows on top of an existing Windows. I always say wipe your drive and install fresh. And so I kind of feel like it's the same thing on an iPad.
It's also, I think it's just sort of a nice exercise. I mean, so many people say the same thing. It's like, I love my iPad, but I end up using the same 5 apps. So it's like, all right, well, start fresh. All you have are the stock apps that Apple wants you to use. You've got iWork that Apple now wants you
Right.
to go ahead and download for free, which is it's sort of
That's
gift to us on new
We
devices.
should mention that. That's the first thing you'll notice when you get your new iPad. It will say, "Here's all the free apps."
Yeah.
And
Do you
there's
want
like
them?
10 of them.
And you go, yeah.
And you go, yeah, and you download them. But it bit me
Why?
because I use 2 accounts. I have an iCloud account
Oh
and
my
I have
gosh.
a store account.
Same problem with
Now,
me.
Jeff Needles, our Apple expert, says that when you're first setting it up,
Wait a second.
you can say
That
use 2 different
intern
accounts.
is our Apple expert?
I don't know why. But
I don't know.
He seems to be a know-it-all anyway.
I don't know.
He says, and I never noticed this, that there is a point when you're setting up the new iPad where you can say, I want to use 2 different accounts. I always just enter in the account, and then, because you enter in your iCloud account first, it says, okay, good. Do you want your free apps? And then I have to say no because I want to enter in my store account before I start downloading. And I had to do it all by hand. It didn't offer it to me again.
I had the exact same problem because I was like, oh crap, no, stop.
I know, and there was nothing to do.
Well, you could go to the App Store and they've got it in a little category.
Yeah.
iWork. So you can find them easily again. But yeah, same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
So I will have to go back and look, but I'm told that there is a point at which you can say, whoa, I'm going to give you my iCloud account, but this is not what I want to use for the store. I want to use a different account.
Oh.
And then maybe this would all work properly.
Sure.
I can't remember where that is.
Well, it's a mess, really.
No, it's not. Now, let me ask you a question. You always restore from backup, except for this one time.
Yep.
Does it restore folders, your organization? No, it only restores the apps. And then you still have to drag everything back into folders.
No.
It does restore folders.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you restore from a backup, whether it's an iCloud backup or via iTunes,
folders are restored.
it'll basically be the same iPad again.
See, because that is the
some
biggest pain for me.
Some people complain that it comes over a little wonky where you'll have some negative space where apps are supposed to be, on 5 pages and then they're sort of spread out over 7. But I've never had folders go away.
See, that would be for me a good argument to do the restore because as you can see, I use folders a lot to simplify it. I only really want to have one page where things are out of folders and then everything else I want to have in folders. So this is a real pain to do, either on your desktop or on the iPad itself. You still gotta go jiggle, jiggle, drag, jiggle, jiggle, drag, jiggle, jiggle, drag.
I've decided I want to suffer. I want to. It's time. It's change is good. It's all, it's new leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So restoring it just puts it back exactly the way it was. But you do download the new versions of the apps.
Yeah.
So you're not restoring, and this is a nice thing. I think Apple does this right. You're not restoring an old version of the app if that's what was backed up. It will check and will get the new version of the app.
But
is
I mean,
that right?
that's not that weird anymore because a lot of us with iOS 7 have automatic app updates anyway. So
you would be up to date.
They're all they're not really outdated anyway.
Well, there you go. That's the saga of 2 new iPads.
It's true. It's
true.
And
I'm very happy with my Mini. It's now my go-to
thrilled with
iPad.
my Air.
And
I love it so
I have
much.
an Air, as you can see, and I'll keep the Air here for work.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the Mini is the right size for me, especially for traveling.
I picked up my non-Retina iPad Mini the other day just because I don't know why.
Hey, what'd you think? Does it?
Well, what's funny is that, and I kind of almost didn't realize this until I thought about it. I haven't upgraded the Mini to iOS 7.
Ah.
And so I keep looking at it just being like, man, this non-Retina screen is just awful. I mean, it looks like it was made in the 60s. And then I realized, wait a second.
It's
iOS 6.
Wow. Isn't it funny how quickly we get you? Because I didn't like.
Because right now, I mean, you go look at iOS 6 now. It's like it didn't take me long.
I really didn't like iOS 7. I'm used to it now. I'm still not crazy about it.
But I mean, it looks normal to you.
It looks normal. It's exactly right.
It's not exactly what you wanted, but it's normal.
You know what Apple app I always move to the last page? Videos. Do you ever use that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's where your videos are.
Not all your videos. Just the video. What videos?
It's stuff that you buy off iTunes.
This is not. I don't own any of this stuff. This is like, is it an ad for video? I don't understand what it is.
What do you?
This is my videos.
You must be in the store.
No. Maybe I do own this.
I think you do actually, or it's your kids. They're buying all this.
Oh, maybe it's my kids.
Maybe
it's my kids.
It must be. Yeah, because that's. I mean, they're just giving you a bunch
any
of free
this stuff.
crap. Well, that's because Henry's watching all of it. Look at this: Ashton Kutcher movies, Jackass.
Oh, yeah, Ferdinand
Fear
the
and
Bull.
Loathing.
Okay, now I get it.
Lots of drugs.
So this is stuff you buy in the iTunes store. This is where it gets stored.
Exactly.
Just like music gets stored in.
It's a little weird, actually. I've always found it odd that.
It's segregated.
Let's say I buy a season of a TV show in iTunes.
Yeah.
In the iTunes app, while it's downloading, it's in the download tab. When it's done, it goes into the videos app. But it's not necessarily clear because you're like, well, where did my downloaded stuff go? Why isn't it still on iTunes anywhere? Those two have never worked very seamlessly to me, but if that was ever a question, that's what's going on. Hey, if you ever miss a show or you think to yourself, you know, I love watching it live, but I'd like to subscribe to the podcast so that I can watch it or listen to it at my leisure, you can always go to twit.tv/IPT. That is where all of our show notes live. If we ever talk about an app and you're like, ooh, I forgot what it's like over there, you can go to any of our episode pages. All of our links are there, as well as our videos, links to subscribe to the show, stuff about our sponsors if you want to give them some love, and also a jumping off point to watch all of the other fine programming on the Twit Network.
Oh, thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Appreciate
we're
the
all
plug.
in the same family here, right? I mean, there are a couple people here that I don't like very much,
But
most people here I consider family.
Are you my sister or my cousin? First cousin or second cousin? It's very important.
Right. I think we're second cousins once removed, and that means it's
like
fine.
it.
The bloodline is not strong enough for it to be weird.
Good.
Yeah.
So our show today brought to you by our friends at Slingbox. Slingbox is the thing that's missing from your iPad. It's the thing that turns your iPad into what it really wants to be, which is your personal television set. Now, what you do is you go to the store and you get yourself a Slingbox. The Slingbox 500 is so cool. HDMI, 1080p. What does it do? Well, it connects your home theater system, your TV, your DVR, your satellite, your cable box, to the internet so that you can access it. You can access it from anywhere that can get on the internet. Password protected, of course, so it's all yours. Now they've added the Blockbuster streaming on demand. They've really got, this is a great solution for anybody who's traveling. Or, you know what, frankly, if you just want to walk away from the TV and you want to spend some time in the bathroom with your iPad, your Slingbox means you don't miss a moment. The Slingbox 500 is fabulous. You're going to want it today. Get that Slingbox app on your iPad or your desktop, your laptop, your any device really, and you can watch your home TV. You can even control it from your tablet or your smartphone. You can control the TV or DVR. You can play back DVR. You leave town and you say, oh, rats, I missed the big games on tonight. You can quickly go to your DVR, record it, and watch it back in the hotel room. It is fabulous, and they're always adding new features, which I really like that. The Blockbuster streaming, that's brand new. To find out more, visit slingbox.com/twit, or you can go to Best Buy or Amazon and just pick a Slingbox up. This is the new Sling. I haven't ever showed you this, have I? It's so pretty. Look at this. Ooh, the Slingbox.
In the flesh, I don't know if you've ever
I don't think
had
I
a
have.
Slingbox on our set.
Yeah, because it's at home.
Yeah.
And so there's all the connectivity, the HDMI. It's got Wi-Fi built in, 1080p.
I like how
really pretty.
it's both interesting looking and unobtrusive.
It looks like Frank Gehry designed it.
Yeah, I mean, you could put that on, your entertainment system, and it would just look
Exactly.
cool instead of like, ew. Ugh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Isn't that sweet? Slingbox.com/twit to find out more. Or just go to Amazon or Best Buy and pick up your Slingbox. And we thank them so much for their support, not only of iPad Today, but they support all our breaking news stories too as well.
They
Slingbox.
sure do.
Yay!
Good place to watch breaking news too.
Yay!
Slingbox. Hey, so Leo.
Hey, so Sarah.
iOS 7 got another little update.
I saw that this morning. What's in there? In fact, a funny thing is, I clicked the link because they said if you want to know more, go to support.apple.com/KB. That's the knowledge base /KB/HT. I even remember this 1222. I went there and it didn't have anything about 704.
Oh, well.
But it does fix at least one bug, the FaceTime bug. Yeah, go ahead, click that link. Because it mentions all the other
it's an
updates.
image.
Oh,
That's
you can't
just an
click it. But
image.
isn't that funny? I remember the link, and I was disappointed because
That's
I
weird
wanted
that you
to
remember
know.
that.
I wanted to know what security updates
How do
were
you
in there.
remember things like that? /HBKV.
HT 112
All right,
1222.
Okay. Well, you know why?
Why?
That's the iOS 6 update that you remembered. Not the iOS. 2 updates happened.
704.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they don't have anything
I
about
see. It's
704
all in the
on
same
that
place.
page. That's my point.
Oh, interesting.
So they send you to that page, but they don't actually have anything on it that's relevant
this is
to this
an
update.
18.4 megabyte update. It
So
sounds
it's
like
tiny.
It's not very interesting. I mean, nothing great is happening here. They say bug fixes and improvements, but there is a fix for an issue that causes
With
FaceTime
FaceTime.
calls to fail for some users. Nothing ever failed for me because I don't use FaceTime either. I don't think I've ever really used it.
I
ever.
think
And
that there are other things they fix. They may, for instance,
Fix things like Touch ID.
What if the jailbreak What if the jailbreak folks were just about ready to ship the jailbreak on 703, and Apple said, no. You mentioned something interesting, Touch ID. Now, I have had good results with the iPhone 5 Touch ID.
As have I, but we are possibly in the minority.
Apparently, people are saying that over time, it gets worse.
So I had lunch with my mom last week. It was after last week's show. And she just got her gold iPhone 5. She's very excited about it, even though she puts it in a case so you can't even tell it's gold. Whatever.
I know, that's funny.
Moms. And she says, Touch ID just doesn't work, though. It works about 10% of the time. And I said,
what?
Yes, it does.
Works perfectly.
Works fine. I mean, I would say 10% of the time for me, it doesn't work. It's almost flawless. She said, no, there's something weird about it. And I went ahead and looked it up, and it turns out that this is actually a very known issue.
Yeah.
And some of my friends who, they understand how the internet works and technology and everything, they're like, no, something's up. So I think that's just all that more reason why we don't see Touch ID in the new iPad models, because Apple knew that there might be issues.
Yeah.
And let's have a feature that's very cool, but start with one device rather than a whole host of devices where people would be complaining about something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I assume they would have to. I mean, if it's a known issue, Apple will have to give people replacement units. But if you're talking,
no, because I think so. So what I'm hearing from a lot of people is that it works fine at first, and then over time it gets worse and worse, and that would be probably. I mean, it could be a hardware issue, but more likely it's a software issue. So it doesn't necessarily mean you'd have to get new hardware to fix it. It might well be a software issue. A lot of times it's amazing how much stuff they can fix in software on these things. So maybe just a firmware update. Who knows? Did this 704, was it only iPad? Or was it across the line for
No,
everything?
it was both.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was, FaceTime on iPhones as well.
Right.
Well.
Some
good news for iPad owners. iWork for iCloud, the whole update that they talked about at the iPad event has finally been pushed out. This is kind of some people call it not a Google Docs killer, but a Google Docs competitor, a way to collaborate in real time on presentations and spreadsheets and the Pages app and stuff like that. Are you excited?
No.
Why?
I was excited when I saw it, and I haven't had any occasion to use it at all.
No. It's still in a beta phase, the iCloud version of iWork.
We're so attached, unfortunately, now to Google Docs. See, even if Google Docs isn't as pretty and isn't as functional, that's what we use, it's what we use, it's what we use. So getting everybody to go over to iWork, it's prettier, it's more functional, it's just not going to happen. There's a lot of inertia. This is why you generally want to get stuff right at the beginning, not at the end.
Yeah. Well, you also mentioned last week, I think it was last week, where you said you couldn't do the show without your laptop in front of you. I mean, this is like the on-the-fly thing.
And that's because we use Google Docs.
That's right. But I think it's also, I mean, even if, let's say, we could use, what would the...
This is the only show I don't do with a laptop in front of me, but I notice you do.
I do, but I'm typing stuff to the editors and Brian in the background, and that's just, it's like I need more of a second screen, really. I don't know that it's so much the laptop issue.
I see.
But it is easier because I've got the physical keyboard and everything. But it has been updated, so...
There you go.
There you go. That's some good news.
It's pretty.
You know what else is pretty? Prettier, anyway.
Besides Sarah Lane?
Besides me. Is iBooks and iTunes U have both gotten facelifts.
You got a facelift too?
Yes. It's called preventative surgery, Leo. And it's very important.
I like iTunes U. I think it's the undiscovered gem on the iPad, frankly. It's a college education for free.
Totally. Where the heck is my iBooks? I swear I downloaded it. Oh yeah, here it is. So if you go into iBooks, for example, that was the iPhone version. You have to click on the iPad tab. But yeah, I mean, it looks. I mean, it's.
There's no. Where's my wooden shelving?
Exactly.
What am I using? What is this? Is this in some sort of strange digital universe that I'm not familiar with?
It's like we're in the iBooks heaven. Everything's white and pristine.
This is where Johnny Ive lives.
Johnny Ive lives here. If I want to read my French conversation book.
Is that what you have? What, did you buy a book on French conversation?
I did.
Actually, it's a good idea because you could study French there.
Exactly. You can listen to stuff. It's very nice.
de famille et...
Oh, Great.
Oh, it's in
Wonderful.
French. Darn it.
I know. That's the thing about learning languages. But yeah, so you've got, these are, books that I've downloaded. You can go into the store from here, of course. And then this is all, this just looks like pretty much the iBook store.
I have to confess that the iBooks doesn't have enough books for me, so I generally use the Kindle app.
Yeah.
But I do use the iBooks app for one thing. If you get PDFs in email, something you want to refer to later, I almost always open them in iBooks, and because you have a PDF shelf there as well. And it's a great way to store PDFs. For instance, a lot of times I'll go to board meetings where we have minutes and we have to review stuff, and they'll send me PDFs of that stuff. And instead of printing it out, as all the other members of the board do, and they come in with their sheaf of paper, I just open it up in iBooks, and I've got it right there. I can scroll through it. It's a great little PDF reader. I know many people have Good Reader and other choices, PDF Pen, that kind of thing, if you want to modify it. But if you just want to read them and refer to them, iBooks is great for that. So I do actually use iBooks, but exclusively for that.
Yeah. Other people do as well.
Yeah.
iTunes U, again, still Johnny Ives Heaven Land. Everything looks very nice here.
Look at
If
that.
I want to download developing iOS 7 apps for iPhone and iPad, now available.
Why do they even bother with the bezel, the shadow?
What do you
they
mean?
still have it. Well, it's still like their shelves. They're just heavenly shelves. I mean, they could really just have those titles just floating in space.
I think there is...
As they are on iTunes, for instance.
I definitely want to read
Ooh,
that.
this is a classic. They update this every year. You always want to get this. See,
iOS
they
7
didn't
is
really.
new.
So couldn't they just have those icons just sitting there? Why do they have to put? They're still doing a shelf.
I believe that it helps, I don't know, organization to the untrained eye. I don't know. Gradients, man. Gradients.
I feel that they that's it. Fade it to white.
Oh, it was like I was in Johnny Ives' kitchen.
It's the
for
best
just a minute. I have to
iPad
say
we've
bedroom. I
ever
don't know that
made.
sound. Ever.
Ever.
So that's that. If you hated the way that iTunes U and or iBooks looked, congratulations, your life is instantly better.
Well, but there's still more to do. There's still some skeuomorphism, as I pointed out. The Find My Friends.
That one.
Very
is
stitchy, very leathery.
very skeuomorphic indeed.
Yeah, and so
Look at
maybe
this junk.
they're not going to update
Look at that junk.
Wow.
Find friends who like to access your contacts. Fine.
Doesn't that look old-fashioned now?
Ah, it's disgusting.
I'm going to log in and find out where Sarah Lane is.
And I don't even have a problem with skeuomorphism.
You
Oh,
don't?
no, I took you off because you kept not sharing your location with me. And so I felt that it was a very one-way street.
Oh, is that why you took me off?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
That's correct.
Yes,
if
it's
I
such a
have friends that keep hiding their location because they're ashamed, I say, fine, you don't get to know where I am.
It's funny
then.
because it says you're in Petaluma.
Oh. Huh. I guess that...
Friend.
Oh, I think I just deleted you, but I didn't keep you from watching me. So...
You were tired of seeing where I was.
Well, not seeing where you were because you had your location disabled.
Oh, I did?
You were hiding from me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Let
I
me
said, you
turn
know
it
what?
back
I don't
on.
even want to know that.
Do you have to turn it on?
What do you... Yeah.
Where do you...
Well, you used to have it on.
Me. Oh, here's me. Current location, work. It says where I am.
Well, then let me have
But maybe
your,
I'm not telling you.
Let me have your information.
Is there a
again.
way to... Okay, don't show my screen. I don't want to show any private stuff.
Yeah.
Because maybe... no, it's not in edit. I don't know. Huh. It seems to be showing my location, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's somewhere I have to go. You know what? It's I never use it. Do you have to open it to have your location work?
No.
Oh.
Certainly not.
Okay. Well, I know where you and Tom
Leo
are.
Laporte at
See?
is it your iCloud information?
Yes.
Okay.
Leo
Well,
Laporte at mac.com.
Create new contact, remove from followers.
Well, you have a lot of people. You have a lot of friends.
Ask to follow.
You have lots of
Okay,
friends.
I've asked again. I'm going to give you another chance.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I just got a request.
Well, that's why it's so fun because people start, or somebody will say, I'm on my way, and then I look and I'm like, you are not. You're at home. You haven't even left yet.
Wow,
Just
now
be
I-
honest.
Now I
Stop
have Sarah's
lying.
home number.
That's right. Yeah. Anytime I say things like, I'll be late, I have to...
I can check
you
up on
can say,
you.
at the beach?
At the
really?
beach? She's at the
That's,
beach.
You had to do that at Ocean Beach? Interesting.
It's so silly, the stitching. It's just so silly.
I don't like
it looks
it
like a
either.
Galaxy Note.
Why did they not... I mean, how hard is it to just not
But they did get rid
Gave
of
it
the
a facelift like everything else.
Green Felden Game Center, right? That's gone.
Yes, thank God. That was offensively bad.
So is Find My Friends the last? That's a question for you all. Is it the last? There's no big tape machine in the podcasts arena anymore, is there?
No. This is definitely it. Although the podcast app I always thought was cool. Hey, speaking of iPad minis and the fact that they are in short supply.
Yeah.
You've heard...
Are they?
In stores.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they would be, but I got mine. By the way, thanks to Glenn Rubenstein, who we were in the middle of a Mac Break Weekly.
That's right.
On Tuesday.
I was here, and he was happy to do it.
I had already ordered one by mail, and it wasn't going to come till next week. And then somebody on the show said, "Oh, wait a minute, they've got pickup now."
Yeah.
So I actually ordered it during the show, and I said, Glenn will pick it up, and he went down and got it and had it by the time the GizWiz was on. So that was very nice of you, Glenn. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah. And thanks to Father Robert Ballister and our chicken, because they held the parking space for Glenn and Josh when they went down there.
Okay.
But Father Robert and the chicken parked in the parking space out front here.
That part of the story I don't really understand.
You didn't see that?
But perhaps it's not
because I wanted them
to understand.
be able to pull right up in front and have rock star parking.
So he was like...
And we were doing the show, so we would have seen them pull up out front.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
He did call to order a pizza.
Okay.
And asked to have it delivered to the parking space in front of 140 Keller
Sure.
Street, which is our location.
And is that what happened?
No, they hung up on him.
What?
He said, look for a priest and a chicken in the parking space in front of 140 Keller. And for some reason, they didn't believe him.
Why didn't they just say deliver to 140 Keller Street? Because then he would have seen the pizza box coming in. Because that would be too, practical, normal. I mean, what happened because of that? Nobody got any pizza. And that is a travesty.
Travesty.
An absolute travesty. Way to drop the ball, Father. Hey, have you heard about these iPad mini heat map type thing that have been popping up and Apple's been shutting down?
Well, there was one that was great for picking up the iPad Air, and it would say who had what. And
right.
And Apple shut it down immediately. So there's others?
There's a new one.
As soon as we mention it, we'll be shut down.
Well, I'm not going to tell you something that it's all over the internet right now.
Okay.
SeaTurtle.org. I'm not even kidding.
See, who doesn't love sea turtles?
Exactly. And it's funny because they've even got a little FAQ over here. Why would SeaTurtle.org, which is a site dedicated to sea turtles, have an iDevice checker? And they say, because we're Apple fanboys and we want to know when our favorite iPhone model will be available.
Plus, you can adopt a sea turtle there.
Yeah. So you
So
can
let's
look at
just see.
iPad
Let's
mini
see.
availability
Let's see if it's
grids.
available. I want to see. Yeah, even that one would be fine. The cheapest one, unavailable. San Francisco has some. Wow. So you're right. It is in short supply.
Well, yeah. Right. Exactly.
There's a few more in the 32 gig. In fact, Santa Rosa has one.
Brian, if you click the up on top of the FAQ iPad mini availability grid, there you go.
We could just see.
You could search by.
Wow, that's great.
Isn't that neat? I mean, of
Look at
all
that.
the unlikely places.
So we know that people are pretty much choosing the black over the white, or silver as Apple calls it. Mm-hmm. Because there's lots of more silvers.
Which is funny to me because I like the white so much more.
Wait a minute. What does green mean I don't understand.
Green means you've got something.
But why does it say 0 in some of the greens?
Oh, yeah. Where's our key?
What does that mean?
Green means it was available at the last check. Red, or it kind of looks like pink, means that it was not. White means we haven't checked that combination, i.e. nobody has requested a check.
And what do the numbers in the squares mean? How many are left? Because I see a lot of zeros.
The number in each grid cell is minutes since that iPad mini or Apple Store combination was last checked.
So within the last minute, they check these and they have there.
Right.
Look at that. So in Florida, it's easy to get an iPad.
What are they all doing in Florida?
Nobody's buying iPads in Florida.
What's happening?
You know
in
why?
Florida?
They're older people and they're buying the big one.
Uh-huh.
They're not buying them.
Or they're like, iPads are the future and we're not there yet.
Maybe that's it. They're in the past.
Like they're all
That's
partying
cool.
in Miami.
That is very cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I thought you'd get a kick out of the SeaTurtle.org
See how long
team.
that Apple leaves that one up.
Yeah, when you first load the page, the first few times I did, they have a little note saying we're getting hit extremely hard by people.
Why wouldn't Apple want people to know that stuff?
Because Apple likes to be secretive about things. Remember my story about how the nice man from the Apple store called me on the phone and said, I know you reserved your iPad and we told you should come, but we don't have that iPad anymore. And I said, why? And he said, oh, it's just been a crazy day of sales. He didn't really want me to be able to know the details of what was going on. And I think that Apple doesn't like any organization giving away some secrets.
Them.
Yeah, exactly. Telling people how it really works.
You know, it could be, and to be fair to Apple, it could also be that if some third-party site said they had them, and then you got there and they didn't, that you would be mad at Apple.
Yeah.
And so it could be that they don't want some third-party site getting them in trouble, saying, "Oh, they have them," and then they don't have them. So that might be the other reason. That to be fair to Apple, might not merely be pure secrecy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that might be true. Hey, you know, a couple updates to the App Store just before we move on that you might get a kick out of. First one is the Digg app, which I get a lot of use out of.
You use that?
I do. Yeah, I love the Digg app. Because
it's now BetaWorks that owns it. It's no
exactly.
longer Digg.
It doesn't have a whole lot of resemblance to the Digg of yesteryear, but
it's just not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's
it's pretty.
It's new and different. It's kind of like sometimes when I just want random stuff, but it's news, you know, delivered to me, and it just looks so nice on the iPad. I just really enjoy kind of zoning out a little bit and firing up Digg, but it has a new category called video. Digg Video, so
I'm gonna install it right now.
It's almost like all of the video apps that we review that we've reviewed over the years that try to make some sense of what cool videos are viral on the internet and that sort of thing. Digg actually does really well, and this is just a little subset of all the information that they have. They've got their front and center app that looks like it's just some sort of random video that somebody made, and you can go ahead and watch it in line. I'll skip ahead a little bit. Oh yeah, okay, that seems pretty nice. You go ahead and I could send it to Apple TV or just go full screen. Okay, this is some sort of creative thing going on. Or I can browse other stuff like a kid wrestling a bear.
Oh, there's nothing like it.
Or some
That's a Vine.
best and worst parts of sports. Yeah.
So there's Vines on here too.
Yeah, well, because video is video.
Video is
right?
video.
And so on and so forth.
And et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera.
So if you're a Digg fan,
I dig it.
I dig it too.
I should show this because these guys that wrote this program are in here all the time saying, when are you going to show our app?
Okay.
It's called, so people use Digg, but they also use Reddit, right? A lot of people, in fact, somebody just in the chat room said, Digg's obsolete, I use Reddit. Reddit is a great resource for people. It's a forum, as most of you know, and a great resource for all sorts of stuff, silly stuff, adult stuff, but also lots of news, ask me anythings and stuff. And the problem is that you've had to use a web browser on iOS. We've showed Alien Blue, which was a Reddit reader. This is called Biscuit, and the Biscuit devs are regularly in our chat room, so I wanted to give them a plug. This is a really nice way to browse Reddit that makes it very easy. I'm not logged into my Reddit account right now because you'd get way too much adult stuff. But no, I'm just kidding. I haven't gotten around. Well, there's Captain Kipper. Hi, Captain Kipper. Renault shows a brickable car with battery DRM that you're not allowed to own. And you can click this to show the website. You can click the right arrow to see more of Captain Kipper's post.
Nice.
You can see the comments. I think it's very nicely done as a way to browse news. You see the inline website. This is Boing Boing. So if you are a Reddit user, I used Alien Blue for a long time, but I have to say I am a big fan now of Biscuit for Reddit. To find it, you have to search for B-I-S-C-U-I-T. You should do a food blog. B-I-S-C-U-I-T space F-O-R space R-E-D-D-I-T. Because there's a lot of things named Biscuit, as it turns out.
Yeah.
In the App Store.
Sometimes it's an art as to figuring out which keywords are going to land you on the result that you actually want when you're downloading an app.
Right.
For example, I was researching like Bitcoin marketplaces, and if you type in just anything that's coin related, you get weird like gambling stuff and games, and you almost have to. Sometimes you have to add the name of the company that you think makes the app. Anyway.
It's hard.
It can be difficult.
It's really hard.
I agree.
It shouldn't be so hard.
It
I think
shouldn't.
that's partly Apple's fault for not having a very good search still
Exactly.
on iTunes and the App Store.
And quickly, Gmail for iPad has been updated as well. So if you like the Gmail app,
I use it all the time.
We've got new viewing modes. Left-hand nav bar when in landscape. In portrait mode, messages now take up the full screen. A lot of people on using the iPad version had complained of that before, that we've got so much screen real estate that doesn't look very cool.
Right.
And it looks better than ever. Absolutely. Just depends
thank
on
you.
Yeah, it depends on if you I mean, what do you tend to do? I mean, you're holding in landscape mode now.
I use Gmail, and I often do it this way because you have the list of messages
Sure.
and the
Yeah.
thing, but I haven't. Now I think maybe mine's not updated yet because
I
that's
don't
not
think
doing
so.
the columns yet.
Yeah, it's a brand new update.
But I have to say, this is a great. To correct myself on the productivity. This is iPad as a productivity tool. This is a great way to quickly go through email because you're using Gmail. You can quickly throw stuff out, and because Siri's dictation is so good, I dictate my responses often. And this is a good way to quickly go through email.
That's nice.
So that is a good use, I think, for the iPad and the Mini. But you could just sit here, little Mini, just go through all your email.
Well, and people say, particularly in portrait mode on the Mini, you know, the typing, at least it's comfortable. You
It's
still
very
have
easy.
a screen,
Very easy to
on-screen
type.
keyboard,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's easier than
Something that's
even
quick,
a-
like
even an
email.
Air.
It's a good choice. So boy, I want to get that update. I don't see it here yet. So
Get her done.
maybe they're staging it out.
Sometimes they do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they roll.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Yay.
Updating.
Update that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
That's a good thing I watched iPad today.
I know.
You ever seen that show?
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I
It's
learned
awesome. Those
so
people are
much.
so smart. One of them seems really, really smart, and the other one seems
Less
like
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not as really intelligent, I think, as the guy.
I'm gonna start a food blog, and I'm just gonna sit in my house being a weird baker, and it's gonna be awesome. It'll be my next career, and I'm gonna use Squarespace to build it.
Good for you. Squarespace, of course, the secret behind some of the best websites in the world, including Sarah.word.
Shut up. Hasn't been called that for a million years. That was when I thought I was really cool and funny.
No, but it was ironic funny.
It used to, yeah.
It wasn't that you thought that was hip to say word. It was
I thought-
ironic a little bit.
It was It was supposed to be.
You
like
know one of the great things about
word,
Squarespace?
but also it was words.
You can change that like
oh yeah.
this.
You can change anything you want. You can change the way it looks. You can change.
They
style.
separate as any good web. By the way, Squarespace is both hosting and a content management software system that's beautiful, easy to post, and they do the right thing. They separate the content from the design. So you can choose when you first go. In fact, if you go to squarespace.com right now, click that Get Started button. You can follow along. Choose from 20 templates. The beautiful templates, but then you customize it to make it exactly as you want. You start posting your data or even import all your blog posts, comments, images, everything from your prior blog. They support all the major blog APIs and put it on the Squarespace site. Now you'll have content, you'll have a design, but here's the beauty part. You decide, I don't want it to look this way anymore. I'm in a different mood. It's a click of the button and it suddenly looks different. But one thing, every one of those great Squarespace templates has it. They're mobile responsive. See how it looks on an iPhone? Beautiful. Looks great on a 27-inch display too. The site automatically rearranges and resizes. Even when you upload images, they'll create 9 thumbnails for every possible size of display. Squarespace, it's so well thought out. So perfectly done. And your site will reflect that. You cannot bring a Squarespace site down. It's so easy to use. They have the best support in the world, including free webinars. You can learn more. And the price, it starts at $8 a month for an annual plan. That includes a free domain name when you sign up for a year. If you want to sell stuff, holidays are coming. Maybe you, maybe like Mick the Wick in our chat room. Maybe you make candles.
Is that why he calls himself that?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
He bought like a ton, literally, like 2,000 pounds of candle wax, put it in the barn, and he's been making candles ever since. I kid you not. Anyway,
Candles are cool.
want to sell them? They've got commerce there too, and the commerce, which includes, by the way, everything, including unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage space, unlimited galleries, blogs, unlimited authors. Everything you need, $24 a month, including, and they don't take a cut of this either, by the way, including unlimited digital or physical goods, services, inventory tracking, tax support. They'll calculate taxes. They'll calculate shipping, give you coupon controls, unlimited. You can't get better than this. So the best way to do this is just try it out. Go to squarespace.com, click the Get Started, import your other website if you have it. It'll import it all over beautifully. And by the way, you can always export too. Squarespace never locks you in, which should give you some reassurance. You'll never want to leave because they don't work that way. That's their ethic. Their ethic is open. Do what you want to do. Make a great site. Have fun on the internet, and I just love it. I want you to try it free, but if you decide you want to buy, please do us a favor. Use iPad Today 11 as the offer code, and you'll get 10% off your new account right away. iPad Today 11 is the offer code at squarespace.com. Nice guys. Hey, John, can you bring us some hats? Because I think we're going to have an app cap a little bit later on.
We are.
And I've neglected to bring hats.
Well, that's all right.
Do you have a hat?
No. We were really on a roll where they just magically appeared for a while. But, everyone is busy.
Forgot.
Everybody's busy. It happens. Thank you very much. Hey, so we've got an Ask Leo. This one comes from Josh in Alabama. And we've talked about this before, but not in a while. And I figure, hey, let's bring up a popular topic because a lot of you have new iPads and may be watching this show and don't remember us talking about it before. Josh says, I've noticed as I've updated operating systems, my other category for my devices has grown to an overwhelming % of capacity. After a bit of research on the topic, I've found disagreements about what exactly other is and how to either erase it or at least marginalize it. Could you provide some insight?
This drives me crazy. And it's one of the reasons I have, by the way, for starting from scratch, for not restoring a backup, is at least when you start from scratch, you're clearing the RAM out completely. In fact, that's probably the most compelling reason. If you go to your usage entry, you'll see what other is. So it's in general in the settings and usage. Now, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time, although this is a new, remember, I do the new install. I actually, can you see other on here, or do you have to look at iTunes to see other?
It's when you sync to
It's on iTunes that you'll see it, yeah.
Somebody please correct us if there's a way to see it on your iPad, but I believe it's just when you sync to iTunes.
Yeah, you don't see it here, because I'm seeing what each app is used.
Right.
And of course, then you'll see the amount of storage used by photos and the amount of storage. That's too bad. I would like to see that. Maybe there is another place to see that. But if you look on iTunes, you'll see this orange strip that is often larger than anything else of taking up space. That what is it? And I am not sure, but I have the strong belief, and anybody who knows better should tell me, that this is data that is not music, not pictures, not video, but it is data associated with apps. So if you have a Simpsons tapped out, you've got the Simpsons app, but then you have associated cache data. Your browser has cache data. Messages has cache data. And what happens is it doesn't seem to get cleared out very efficiently. So it just seems to grow and grow and grow. You only see it in iTunes. So I think a lot of people don't know it's even there. The question is, does the operating system smart enough to reclaim that space when you need it? I don't know. I've never found a good satisfactory answer on this.
A couple people in chat point out that if you are sending messages back and forth to friends and there are a lot of pictures and even videos involved.
That's the data associated with messages, right?
Yeah.
So it's not permanent data, it's cached data.
But it won't show up in your photos or your videos because it's not actually in apps that are dedicated to that according to iOS 7.
Right.
So, and also, I mean, there'll be a certain app like, for example, Camera Plus. Camera Plus is like, why is Camera Plus so big?
Because it
like,
stores its own
I have so many photos in there that are in my Lightbox that I haven't exported and then cleared out.
So apps have their own data. There's cache data.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had any computer operating system, you know about temp files and cache files. They're effectively those, the temp files and the cache files. But normally on a computer system, they're cleaned out periodically. I don't know. There seems to be no way to clear out other.
Well, I know some people
Except doing what I do, which is starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like if you create a backup via iTunes and then restore your iPad.
Does that get rid of the other?
Well, again, and Josh is right, with differing results, sometimes that helps people. It's not like it's ever going to go away completely, because there's just some system files, and that's how it goes. Right. but it has helped people in the past. So yeah, it's kind of a weird, Apple doesn't have an official stance on here's what you do when your other seems to be out of control, but there are little hidden places, like again, videos that might be just sort of sitting there that are, if they're still accessible on your iPad, they're being stored locally.
If you play games that have a lot of data, I think Simpsons Tapped Out is a good example. That could take up a ton of gigabytes of space in other.
Well, if you're you, then yes.
And then if it crashes on you,
And then
you have
so
1,400
sad.
donuts left over, those donuts are going to occupy other for the rest of your life. It's kind of like overeating donuts. You never get rid of the donuts on your hips.
We had somebody contact us who had briefly gotten to like the high score in the world on Temple Run 2.
Yeah?
Took a screenshot, super proud of himself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know, went back a minute later or something and it was gone. And it wasn't as if somebody beat him, it was like he never existed at all. And he was understandably pretty upset about it. And I said, what do you think happened? Let's figure out this mystery. And I said, I couldn't possibly tell you. I mean, are you sure that you really got the high score in the entire world?
He has a screenshot.
He does. No, I've seen it. But I don't, it's like, I don't know who to complain about that.
There's nobody, it's like
no one at
Simpsons
Apple
Tapped Out.
cares.
There's nobody in charge.
That's right.
So there are things you can do to reduce other besides restoring. One is to clear caches. So clear the cache in your browser. Delete if you've been using an iPad for a year or two, you got a lot of mail stuff there in the cache. Delete your mail account and restart it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there seems to be no like magic wand you can wave.
Jeffrey from Bluffton, South Carolina, perhaps has, I don't know, gotten the flu this year or something, says, it's dawned on me as more and more of our electronic devices go to a touchscreen interface that we are more likely to be exposed to germs, and thus infections and disease. We touch them with our hands, the hands of others, we go to our faces, they're placed on just about any kind of surface, they get hot from the device itself, being in our pockets, resting on our hands. Talk about a great way for an infection to spread. Do companies like Apple or Samsung think about such issues? Are there effective and simple ways to keep devices relatively clean? Well, I mean, doorknobs suck too. I mean, if we're gonna get granular, right?
You don't want to really start thinking about bacteria. But you don't really want to start thinking about bacteria. But in fact, they do think about this. In fact, Apple made a big deal about the fact that the glass on iPads was bacteria resistant, bacteriophobic.
I don't think that you should count on that.
Wipe it off.
I just don't, it's like, what are you gonna, I mean, you keep your hands clean.
What do you think? Your computer keyboard's clean?
Well,
You can clean an iPad. It's made of glass. You can clean that very easily. Your keyboard and your computer.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Door handles.
If you're,
I
used to date a girl who wouldn't touch elevator buttons.
Just specifically those?
Yep, she used her umbrella.
But did she open up a door in a public place?
Sometimes she'd use her elbow.
But then her elbow's
just elevator
dirty.
buttons. She felt
And then
that
when she puts her elbow up to her face, she's gonna get whooping cough.
She felt that an elevator button in some way was more likely to have germs on it.
It just grossed her out. Yeah.
I think if you start thinking about germs, you turn into Howard Hughes. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. They're coating everything.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't care about germs. I just don't think tablets are some sort of
germs
new
are
way.
good for you.
To a point.
What happens when you eat antibiotics?
To a point.
It kills all the germs, and then you get an upset stomach and stuff.
And then you get resistant strains.
Exactly.
And then you can't get rid of staph infections.
You
and
cannot
people
live
lose
in
limbs.
a bubble. It's good to eat dirt.
It's bad.
I eat dirt regularly so that I am protected.
That's right. And you don't wash your hands after the bathroom either. It's for the good of all of us. We're strong like bull.
How often do I get sick?
I don't know. I don't remember you being sick ever.
Exactly. I very rarely get sick.
I also very rarely go down for the count.
Lick my iPad.
Your iPad.
Regularly.
While you're doing that.
To clean it off.
That's just happened.
So there. Does it make you sick? No.
No. You're fine. Hey, so
might make you sick. See me do that. That's another matter.
It was revolting for sure, but you know, I've composed myself. Brian O., who lives in Albany, New York, says, I got my iPad Air 64 gig last Sunday. He says, I like 2 things about it, and it's not processor speed. Number 1, way better Wi-Fi connectivity speeds. Now, I don't understand why that would be true.
It's MIMO.
Why? Oh.
Multiple in, multiple out.
Correct.
It has multiple antennas. Now, of course, to take advantage of this, you have to have a MIMO Wi-Fi router. Many people do. You'll see if you have several antennas on your routers. And it also supports AC, I think, 802.11 AC. But in order to take advantage of that, you'd also have an AC router.
I thought it did not.
Does it or does it not?
I didn't think that the new, I thought it was, is it AC rather than N?
I don't know, darling. I'm just assuming since Apple's new router is AC, that the iPad also would be AC. But I'm sure there's, if there were some way we could figure that out.
Oh, if only there was some sort of hive mind we could tap into.
Maybe
associated with the show.
The new ones are N only. Okay.
I thought,
Wow.
Okay, thank you.
You're right. There is no AC.
So it's
there's AC in the Airs, the new Airs, and I'm surprised Apple did not put AC. But probably there's a lack of chipsets for mobile devices.
MacBook Airs?
Yes, MacBook, not
now we're going to have to make the distinction. Are you talking about laptop Air? Or are you talking about iPad Air?
Yeah.
He says the new...
MIMO should make a difference in speed, though.
Yeah, so okay. I kind of hadn't taken much stock in that. Brian's second reason that he's so happy with it is he says, I like the speakers a lot more. He says, like 3 to 4 times louder than iPad 3 and much clearer.
Ah.
I don't really... Well...
There's stereo.
I don't... I mean, so there's that.
2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Whereas on the 3rd gen, there was just the 1. I don't know if the 4th gen had 2 or not. Just seems like, twice the fun. I almost never play anything on my iPad without either headphones or AirPlaying it to something with speakers, but that's good in a pinch.
Here, let me just turn it up really loud here.
Turn it up.
And see, because I never even really
thought about
it. Yeah, it's all the way up.
All right. Oh, there it is.
The bass is a little bit better. It does sound better. You can't tell here. You
can't tell.
But you know what? It sounds considerably better.
Even sitting next to you, it does sound a little.
It sounds
powerful.
considerably better.
I don't know if it sounds better.
Yeah.
But definitely more powerful.
Much better speakers. That's nice.
Finally, we got a voicemail from Kevin, who has an answer to one of our emails from last week that sometimes YouTube videos don't play on an iPad.
Oh, this is an OS X Mavericks problem, too. What's the story, Kevin?
Hey, Sarah and Leo. This is Kevin from Vero Beach, Florida. I just was watching your show from this week, and you were talking about the YouTube video, how some videos do not get shown on mobile devices. That is because of the content. If you have some songs, some music in it that has copyright on it, YouTube will play it, but only will play it on a PC or Mac. But your mobile devices is restricted. So I've been doing videos for a few years, and I found out that's the reason why. So, hey, love your show. Been watching it from the beginning, and keep up the good work. Thanks.
That's bizarre.
Well, it's not really bizarre. I think that actually makes sense. But I guess you'd have to be, in that realm enough to have to do some research and figure out that that's at least part of the problem.
My answer was all wrong. I was saying something about 5.1 surround sound or something. Was I?
I don't remember you saying that. You just said, it's the content creators that are to blame.
So, so I was right. It's the mobile license. You have to have a mobile license.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So thank you, Kevin, for taking the veil off of one of life's greatest mysteries. Why won't YouTube videos? You know,
Does it play the speech but not the music, or just cuts off all the?
No, it just won't play. It just says
this
is not supported on this device.
Yeah.
Write us at iPadtoday@twit.tv, please do. And sorry that we can't get to all your emails. I do my best to certainly read all of them. So I hope that that you forgive me. And leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD. That's 757-504-4723. Like Kevin did, keep it to 30 seconds or less. That's the sweet spot. Works like a charm. You can send us a video as well. Whether you want to point us to something that you think is good for the show, or you want to record yourself doing a little song and dance, you want to show us your Gmail login. All of that is appreciated, and thanks to everybody who helps make our show every week.
I like the new Gmail. Very nice.
You're happy with it?
Yeah.
Good. It makes better use of the screen.
Yeah, it's funny
Especially on
because
a mini.
Google actually, I think, in many cases, does better apps on iOS than they do on Android. Which you would, I mean, they own anyway. Our show today brought to you by 99 Designs. Design is everything. And I think part of that is because Google knows that iPad and iPhone users have a more discerning eye for design. So they make it look better on the iPhone first. If you have an eye for design, but perhaps not like me, not the talent, maybe you ought to know about 99designs.com. 262,071 designers are there at last count, waiting for you to set up a design contest in lots of different categories, whether you need a new logo, a mobile app, a business card, a t-shirt, or any other kind of graphic design. You can find the right designer at 99designs.com. Some of the best apps ever were designed right there. And it's amazing because you can get your app designed there as low as $199. Wow! Everything from icons and buttons to your entire mobile app designed at 99 Designs. Check out some of these beautiful apps designed at 99 Designs. Well, I want you to try it. If you've got a business, you need 99designs.com to do maybe your landing page for Facebook, a menu for a restaurant, maybe your logo design, your sign design. Go to 99designs.com/iPad today, and we're going to get you a $99 power pack of services absolutely free. That gives you more designer time and attention. They'll bold, highlight, and feature your design project in the 99 Designs marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs. I love them. It's how we got our t-shirt, our beautiful t-shirt design at 99 Designs. 99designs.com/iPad today for $99 worth of power pack services absolutely free. And we thank 99 Designs for doing such a great job for all of us here.
Hey, you look like you're about to conduct some sort of a railroad.
Ticket, please. Ticket. And you look like a plantation owner.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I don't know what that was.
Welcome to your app cap.
You know, in India, I spent a lot of time on trains
Yes.
because it's really actually fun.
It's a great way to get around, yeah.
And they've got a lot of people, I think pretty much always men, who walk around handing out chai. I mean, you know, not for
I love
free.
chai.
And they're tiny little cups. And they've got this whole thing where they go like, chai, walla, walla, walla.
Chai, walla, walla, walla.
And so you can kind of hear it where you're like, ooh, the chai is coming.
Chai guy.
And it's kind of like a sing-song thing.
Were you tempted to buy many little cups because they were so small?
They're just all over the place, and they're cheap.
There's always going to be
So
another.
you just, you have a little, you kind of
So
warm
the chai
up.
vendor's like a boyfriend. There's another one every minute.
Yeah, dime a dozen.
Dime a dozen.
Dime a billion. So there's that. I don't know what made me think of that right now, but you talked about trains, and I got happy.
I love trains. I do. No, I didn't talk about it. I'm wearing a conductor's
Amtrak
hat.
train, like a twit railroad week of fun, right?
We could do
Wouldn't that be
a
neat?
whistle stop tour, they call that.
I mean, I'd really like to do that. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap
It's
anymore.
not cheap.
Yeah.
It's easier to fly, and that
Yeah.
sucks.
Isn't that sad?
Sad.
Yeah.
You know what else is sad?
What?
The fact that more people are not part of ARTPOP, which is Lady Gaga's new iPad app.
Oh, please.
Oh, yes, Leo.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
What does it do?
It does weird stuff. So, ARTPOP is a new album by Lady Gaga.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So this is now this would work for iPhones or iPads. It's an iOS app. It's a companion sort of like weird art thing.
Is it the songs on the album in there? Or, hey, it says my name.
Oh, somebody named Leo. You didn't make this, did you? That's weird. I'm going to give this props because I just think that's
I
cool.
did,
Oh,
actually.
darn it. I haven't synced my Aura yet. Darn it.
Sync your aura?
Yeah, that's part of
That's
what...
Gaga speak?
It's basically like, hey, register. But it's all about my aura.
Sync your aura.
What's kind of neat about this is, you know how Gaga has her, it's basically a social network called Little Monsters?
Yes, I'm a member.
Okay, so if you're a member, then you would just log in with the exact same credentials.
Okay.
And you can create a variety of kind of like art things. There's even a Seen by Gaga screen, so you can see...
What she's looked at.
Yeah, stuff that you've actually seen. Me listening to swine, okay, whatever that means. So this is some art that's
How do you do these, though? Are there tools to make these designs?
Yeah, so here...
There's a ball.
Here's me. Yeah, so I can go ahead and say like, all right, well, I'm gonna write a little something,
Oh, I see.
you know.
Yeah, you're flawless. That's true.
That's right. ARTPOP listening party. That's what I'm
Okay.
ARTPOP at the gym. That's what I
There
was
you
doing
go.
yesterday.
That's
I was
you.
listening. Make gift.
Okay,
No,
little
I'm
monsters.
not done yet.
Let's
I wanna
show
do
your
some other
creativity
stuff.
here.
And then,
Ooh.
yeah, let's go back to. Oh wait, I see. I can't do. Oh, that's weird. Okay, we'll just keep it. Keep it. Why not?
I think there's a sign.
Safe.
That's a sign. You have to sign your aura over. My aura belongs to Gaga.
Yeah. I hope Gaga sees my cool creation. Anyway, so you can create art. That's fine. Art house. You can also, if you go back to the homepage, you can. There's more like information on her album, of course. So it's it's obviously like it's a promotional tool.
Is there? Oh, you have to buy them. All right.
Yeah.
You don't get the.
But you can go ahead and You can go ahead.
If you're a little monster, you probably already have owned the CD, of course.
Yeah, I actually have been listening to it on audio.
Yeah.
But if you go ahead and play.
Well, that's why she has to do this, because she needs the money.
Why don't you?
Because you didn't buy it yet.
No, but you're supposed to be able to play I thought you could play a clip. Well, that's possibly not. And then there's some. And yeah, if you had bought it already, you could go ahead and redeem and play it in here.
Right.
And then there's some like content that is yet to come, and then these like
coming
weird
soon.
countdowns. Well, it's not very soon.
138
it's like
days?
6 months from now.
Holy moly.
I know. And then if you're like, well, what's the aura thing that you mentioned before? This is basically where I would store my creations. So it's very, very silly. I mean, you have to really like Lady Gaga, I think, to get a lot out of this. But or just like kind of random artwork, and that's fine too. It's free. I had some fun with it. I actually really like the new album, so I was excited to download what I thought would probably be kind of a weird companion app, and sure enough, it is. My aura, by the way, is very small because I haven't created a lot of stuff, but it will grow over time. There's like this cool intro. I don't even want to call it a video. It's sort of like an interactive, weird thing when you first launch the app where you sort of walk through who you are, and you give the app access to your camera roll and that sort of thing, and it talks about how your aura is very small, but it's going to grow, and it's what lives inside you. So it's just weird. It's weird stuff. If you like weird things, ARTPOP might be the app for you. I like weird things.
You like Gaga.
I do. Rah, rah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ba-ba-ba.
Oh, ma, la, la, la.
Yeah. Okay, my app, we don't do a lot of kids' apps because you and I are superannuated. We're too old to do it. But
right, we don't know what kids like.
Kids, what are they?
I don't know.
But, when my kids were growing up, they loved, the Living Books series and stuff. We called it lapware. It was back in the days of CD-ROMs, where you would put the kid in your lap and they would do the CD-ROMs and stuff. Well, of course, an iPad. Kids love iPads. And I was just reading about a company called Kidaptive, that makes among the most popular iPad apps for the pre-kindergarten set.
Oh.
They just raised $10.1 million. It's kind of neat because the apps are all free. The curriculum is designed by Stanford learning experts. Hollywood animators create the stuff, and there are a whole bunch of them, and I also like the name. This is the best known, Leo's Pad, but they also have Leo's Colors, Leo's Songs, Leo's Letters.
And this is not you. This is just
some other Leo.
Okay.
So I really like this because they are giving this away, and if you have an iPad, you might be very interested in. Now, what should I say here? I have to log in, huh? Let's cancel that. Let's say no. And so you're gonna actually create an account for little Leo, for your kid. And this actually has some curriculum stuff. Now it's pre-K, so it's not designed. Let's see. Let's pick. I think a teddy bear for my thing. I'm going to enter the birthday, and that is. Whoops. Let's do it right here. November 14th, 2013. I think that was a very good year. So I'm actually 0. Now, do I want to add another learner? No. Do you have audio? Are you hearing audio? Let me make sure it's turned up all the way here. All right. So tap a learner to play. I'm little.
Pat.
Oh,
Hey.
hey.
Yay. Let's play episode number 1. So there is actual curriculum in here because there are things that little kids want to learn before. Look how great the animation is.
It looks really good.
It's really, really great.
Spectacular, you're here. Come on in.
Cool-tacular, that's what kids say.
Well, remember that the little kids are watching this. These are big kids to them.
I know.
So they're watching this, but it does introduce them to concepts they'll need to know to get ready for kindergarten.
This is how you get your kid to start complaining that they don't have a tablet.
Well, you can share it with them.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally. No, this is very cute.
You'll get it as fast as lightning.
I would have loved something like this as a kid because
Can
you
you
feel like
imagine?
they're really talking to you.
Yeah, and you get to do it all by yourself
Yeah.
without mommy or daddy kind of looking over your shoulder.
Bye. See you there.
There's a ton of these.
We've still got to make
Some of them are more game focused, like the Leo's Gyro Racer. There's paint games and stuff. This is the most popular one. It's called Leo's Pad, and this is all kind of cutscene stuff. But
You want to play hide and seek, huh? Come on. Tap on the door and let's find Cinder.
now, can you do that if you were 6 years old? Sure, you could.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Where could she be?
So wait, so this app is free?
it's free.
That's so great.
Isn't that neat? Now they just raised money.
Get it for your kid. They 10 million, I think they did.
Yeah.
Something else.
So
I can't find
So
Cinder.
clearly they've got a user base that is proven enough. This is for kids. That's why you can
I
do
can't
it.
figure it out. I'm gonna throw the iPad
Well,
in a
you're
second.
not listening.
Oh, I found Cinder.
Well,
Whew, that was lucky.
behind something that's white,
Something that's
white.
white.
you can do it.
So they're learning colors, right?
Something shaped like a sun.
Shaped like a sun.
Well, I mean,
Excellent.
talk about obvious hint.
She behind something.
They're 5 years old.
Anybody could do that. Probably a first grader.
If somebody were talking, I could probably find Cinder, but I can't hear the clue.
The shape we're looking for has the same number of sides, but they're all the same length. Try the green square.
Oh,
See, I'm learning square.
Awesome.
So
this is fun.
There's curriculum. It's for kids. Little kids would love it, and it's absolutely free.
That's so great.
Isn't that
and
neat?
We've got a lot of people in chat already saying, my kids would love something
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and free.
Free.
I love that. So if you've been looking,
from Kidaptive.
I'm not saying somebody should go out and buy a iPad for their kid, but you already have an iPad and you're looking for something that your kid can do. This is the drawing game, very easy to use. You're going to pick up something to color in. Let's pick that, and we can have fun doing this. You know what? This is fabulous. This is really, I think, really cool. Oh, look, it's easy to color in because you can be a complete idiot.
Absolutely good.
Never.
Oh, and you say, "Look, Mom, I'm beautiful." And Mom says, "Okay, be quiet."
This is everybody gets a trophy day. Okay, let's
All
color
right, Leo.
in.
Well, I think you're having a little bit too much fun with this.
Okay.
Which is very nice. But this is a perfect place to end the show while he's in his sort of zen place, coloring. But thanks to everybody who watched and listened this episode of iPad Today. Quick reminder that we are coming close to the end of the year.
Uh-oh.
And starting January 6th, is it? Which is our the first week after we're back from the break. We're going to be on a new day, on Mondays.
Yay.
Taping the show live.
Leo's first show of the week.
It will be. Well, but I said that last week and you said, no, it'll be my third because I work on the weekends.
My week begins on Monday.
Great. First show of the week. It'll be right after TNT on Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 12:12 p.m. Eastern. Super excited about that. So, not happening overnight or anything, but it is happening.
Are we doing a best of? Yes, we are.
I guess we
so
are.
at the end of the year, we like to have a best of at the end of every year for all of our shows. You can go to twit.tv/best of and pick a favorite moment or two from previous episodes during the year 2013.
Yeah.
Help us put that together.
Absolutely.
And while you're there, take the Twit survey, twit.tv/survey. Help us better understand you, what you're interested in, and help us tell our advertisers what kind of people watch this show so we can get advertisers that fit your interests.
Yeah, and you
very helpful to us.
Thank you. Exactly. See, that's exactly right.
iPad
Two
Today
wonderful shows.
and i5 for the iPhone.
Wonderful shows. That host is top notch.
She is
top shelf,
great.
top drawer.
Twit.tv/survey.
Just say, Sarah's great. More Sarah.
There is a section where we ask you, how do you like Sarah?
Oh, God, I don't even want to read those responses.
We don't do that.
Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week on iPad
Today. Chai, walla, walla, walla. Chai, walla, walla, walla.